现在前线医护人员和市民都感到深深的疲惫，面对抗疫的倦怠期，那么特首会如何鼓励前线的医护人员还有广大市民保持抗疫的积极性呢？那么第二个问题就是，第5波疫情至今呢，已经有超过5000人死亡了。那这5000人背后呢，就是5000个家庭。对于亲人的离世，无论是长者还是儿童，家人都会感到心理创伤难以承受。那么，请问特区政府会对他们提供哪些支援呢？谢谢。
那现在这个抗疫抗了已经2年多了。我相信很多人都有这个感觉，是比较疲惫啊。但是我可以告诉你，本人没有啊。本人虽然离开我的任期只有3个多月，我还每天很有这个抗疫的精神啊。我没有一刻因为我感觉到这个身心的疲惫这个影响我的工作啊，所以包括我每天来见你们，谈谈香港的抗疫的情况所以对于前线的人员，我们都是非常的关爱无论是医疗的人员，或者是在前线做清洁、这个卫生、保安的人员我们都对他们非常关爱。我们的关爱表达在什么地方？一个是我们为他提供充足的防备。个人的这个医疗防备的用品，无论是口罩、保护衣物，或者是现在每天很多人要做这个快速抗原的测试，这个测试包都是我们给的，所以我们每天要用200万，所以不可能是所有是公务员用的，我们都把它派到前线，让我刚才说我们要关爱、要保护的前线人员都能用。另外就是在防疫抗疫基金里边，也很多次都有为前线的人员提供一个抗疫的津贴所以这个也希望代表我们一些这个心意。那么有些这个重点在一些风险比较高的地方工作，我们有为他们提供闭环。这个闭环的酒店都是特区政府提供的，无论是医院管理局前线员工的酒店做闭环，或者是安老院员工的闭环的酒店都是我们提供的，也包括专用的车队让他们来回在闭环的酒店跟他工作的地点都是我们提供的这个是我们对于前线人员的关爱。那么另外一方面，对于在这个疫情，无论是直接由于新冠病毒，或者是不是直接由于新冠病毒去世的人，我们都是很伤痛，我们都对他的家人致以衷心的慰问。所以我们也这个花了一些这个工作，在怎么做善后的工作包括怎么样他能早一点能领取的亲人的遗体怎么能加快一些火葬现在差不多是加了1倍，这个每天我们以前的量是100多，现在已经到了300遗体火葬这个遗体。那么另外还有其他这个情绪的支援，我们都有些这个电话的热线希望能帮助他们走过这一段比较困难的时间。谢谢。
And third, referring to the letter to the business community by Mr. Slam yesterday, why there is a need to send the letter now, and does it come a little bit too late? Thank you.
The second of your inquiry is about my letter. Now let me give you a bit of background. In Hong Kong, being a very international city, we have 2 major communities that the government will continuously engage with, especially since I assumed office as the chief executive. 2 days ago, in response to, again, an English question, I said, nobody attaches more importance to Hong Kong's international status. Not international financial center status, but international status than myself as a chief executive, because I know it is how very important for Hong Kong to succeed and survive as an international city, that we have to be connected with the outside world, we have to be attractive to overseas and mainland business community to encourage them to invest in Hong Kong. We have to attract far more talents from overseas and mainland to come to work in Hong Kong. So there are two important communities. One is our consular community. We are one of the few Chinese cities that have so many presence of CGs in Hong Kong. The other is the business community. So we have a committee called the IBC, the International Business Committee, which is chaired by the CS for Administration, which means that during my 4.5 years as a Chief Secretary for Administration, I've been meeting these business chambers heads very often to tell them the Hong Kong situation and to get their feedback. And so since the beginning of this fight against the epidemic, I have been sending monthly reports, personally signed off monthly reports to these two very important communities every month. Because somehow most of the news are now reported in Chinese or Cantonese. So our two expatriate community may not get the first-hand information about the work of the Hong Kong SAR government. So on a non-stop basis, I've been sending them monthly reports to tell them the government's work in fighting the epidemic. And on the 28th of February, I sent them my 24th report, because this fight has gone on for 2 years. And as a result of that, partly because of the current situation and worries about school closure and border controls, many of the recipients of my 24th report sent me letters as a feedback. Okay? And so I thought that since there is a lot of common ground amongst the letters sent to me, I may as well give them a further supplementary piece of information through a letter to the same community, that is members of the IBC, and what we call the heads of post. Heads of post refer to the consul generals as well as the head of a number of international organizations in Hong Kong. And so that is the purpose of my letter. And my letter actually recaps all the things that I've said in public, especially on this occasion. But to give them a consolidated picture is something that I find it is relevant and it may be regarded as useful. And actually, from the yesterday's afternoon, I've been given a lot of feedback that they are very grateful for the Chief Executive's letter. They find it most informative and encouraging, but they also look forward to more concrete measures to be announced in due course. So it is not a question of whether this is done fast enough or too late. This is part of my ongoing work as a Chief Executive to engage with important communities in Hong Kong.